meaning.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am teacher Ida Murni Jamari from YMS EduTech Learning Hub. Inshallah, we help students to improve in math and science by 2 grades in less than 3 months. Alhamdulillah, tonight we are continuing with our PSLE math heuristic revision, and today is the 5th episode or the 5th heuristic that I'm sharing with you, and it is total unchanged. Now, this kind of problems involve exchanges between items internally, as such that the number of items remain the same. What do I mean by that? The total number of items remain the same. What do I mean by that? Let me give you a simple example. Okay, can I do it here? Can it be seen? Okay. Let's say we have Ali and John. Okay, Ali and John. Ali has 5 sweets while John has 2 sweets at first. Okay, and then Ali decided to give 1 sweet to John. So now Ali has 5 minus 1, he has 4 sweets, while John received that 1 sweet from Ali. Now John has 3 sweets. Okay, so what do we notice here? We notice that the changes happen internally. It's only between Ali and John. Alright, so from here we can see that the total number of sweets remain the same. At first, the total number of sweets was 7, and after the exchange, the total number of sweets remain as 7. This is what I mean by total unchanged, because the changes involve internally, no external party involved. Alright, so the kind of questions that students will be tested on, example will be Anna had to read a storybook which had 200 pages. On the first day she read 10%. On the second day she read maybe the remaining 1/5. So the total number of pages of storybook remains as 200. Okay, another example would be the total distance that someone is running for. Let's say a 10-kilometer marathon. So for the first few hours, let's say this runner managed to cover 2 kilometers, and then subsequently the next 1 kilometer. But the total number of distance covered remains unchanged as 10 kilometers. Okay, so tonight I'm going to bring you to another example which involve the number of pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. Alright, and previously for the past 4 episodes, I have shared with you how to solve heuristic problems using 2 methods, model drawing and unitary method, or the BCA table. Okay, but for this type of question, we can draw model, yes, however the model will get complicated, and I do not want to confuse you in the model drawing. As such, for tonight, I'm just showing you how to solve this problem using unitary method, this kind of method, or we call it the before change after method, BCA table. Okay, so without further ado, let us read the question together and we'll solve the question together. Okay, so we are solving the question using unitary method, or some people they call it the BCA table. Okay, so let's read the question together. Pavita wants to complete a jigsaw puzzle. On the first day, she feeds 20% of the pieces of puzzle. On the second day, she feeds another 60 pieces of the puzzle. In the end, the ratio of the number of fitted pieces to the unfitted pieces becomes 2:5. How many pieces does the jigsaw puzzle have? Alright, so let us underline the keywords. So Pavita wants to complete a jigsaw puzzle. On the first day, she feeds 20% of the puzzle. Okay, that means she feeds 20% of the total number of pieces. So like previously for the first 4 heuristic, I have shared with you that whenever we see percentage or whenever we see decimal, change it to fraction, such that students only need to remember how to do problems using one type of topic, which is fraction. Okay, so let's change 20% to fraction. What do we get? 1/5. Okay, so this is 1 out of 5. Alright, so if we reread the statement, on the first day, she fits 1/5 of the pieces of puzzle. So this 1 unit is referring to number of pieces fitted, while this 5 unit is referring to the total. Okay, then what happened? On the second day, she fits another 60 pieces. This is absolute value. This is not in terms of percentage or fraction. This is absolute value. This the exact number of pieces that she fitted. Okay, in the end, the ratio of the number of fitted pieces to the unfitted pieces becomes 2:5. So the question wants to know how many pieces does the jigsaw puzzle have. So we want to know the total number of pieces. Okay, so we're going to use unitary method. Can I stand here? Okay, so we're going to use the BCA method: before, change, after. Okay, I need more space. Before, change, and after. Okay, so we are referring to fitted pieces. I'm going to label it as F, is to unfitted pieces, is to total. Okay, so at first the number of units of fitted pieces was 1 unit. The total was 5 units. So how many units were unfitted on the first day? 4 units. Okay, and then there was a change involved. She fits another 60 pieces of puzzle. Okay, this 1, 4, and 5 are referring to the number of units. So I label it as U. Alright, so that students will not get confused between the ratio as well as absolute value. Okay, so she fitted another 60 pieces. So I must add 60 pieces. I don't write any unit to show that this is the exact number of pieces. Okay, so if she fitted 60 more pieces, that means the number of unfitted decreased by 60 pieces. Understand? Okay, then what happened in the end? In the end, the ratio becomes 2 units is to 5 units. Okay, so since she did not lose any pieces of puzzle, it's not mentioned in the problem, hence the total number of pieces of puzzle before and after should be the same. Alright, so which means students, you need to find the common multiple of 5 and 7, because the total number of units remains the same. Okay, so must find common multiple of 5 and 7. What is the first common multiple of 5 and 7? 35. So that means for this whole row, you must multiply by 7. For this whole row, you must multiply by 5. Okay, so now let's write down the new number, the new units. Okay, so everything must be multiplied by 7. So this will be 7 units is to 28 units is to 35 units. Right? Do the same to the after. So we have 10 units is to 25 units is to 35 units. Okay, check that your total number of units before and after is the same. So is it the same? Yes, 35 units. Alright? Okay, so what information have I not used? I have not used this 60. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, so let's look at the fitted pieces. At first, the number of units of fitted pieces was 7 units. Now, or on the second day, it becomes 10 units. So what is the change here? 10 units minus 7 units is 3 units. So 3 units is referring to how many pieces? 60 pieces. Always find 1 unit. 60 divided by 3, that will be 20. We want to know the total number of pieces. So total number of pieces is how many units? 35 units. So we are interested in 35 units. Can it be seen? Okay. So 35 units will be 35 multiplied by, okay, wait, I don't have space. That's right at the bottom. 35 units is 35 multiplied by 20. Final answer, 700 pieces. Okay? So, in summary, for total unchanged type of question, students need to find the common multiple of the total. Must find common multiple of the total. Right? So if you realize that for the past 5 heuristics, including this, it only involves fraction as well as finding common multiple. But students need to know which common multiple you need to find out. Is it the common multiple of the total? Is it the common multiple of the difference? Or is it common multiple of repeated item? Okay, so the only difference out of these 5 heuristics was the first one, the remainder concept, which involved branching. For the other 4 heuristics that we have covered are very similar to one another, but students need to identify what is the concept that is being tested in the question. Okay, so I hope you find this sharing session useful in helping you to revise in total unchanged type of question. For those of you who have missed out, don't worry, we have archived our videos, our PSLE Math Heuristic videos in our IGTV for Instagram and in our Facebook fan page. Please share this video with those who will be sitting for PSLE Math, inshallah. I'm Teacher Ida Murija Mari once again from YMS EduTech Learning Hub. Hurry to success.